Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, if I'm being honest, y'all, I have neglected myself. Okay, like my skin's looking bad. I'm having like this really bad breakout. I haven't been doing my mask. I haven't been doing my self care. I just like totally neglected myself. Look, like my cuticles are all jacked up. My nails are a mess. I mean, have you ever just gone through that like that phase where you're just so like focused on everything else that you're doing? Like I've been writing the second volume of my memoir series. It went in a totally different direction than I thought it would to begin with. And so like I'm embracing it, right? Like I love, I'm like I'm open to the change, things going in a different direction. To me, like that shows growth. That shows like this elevation, and I told y'all before, like I'm in my elevate stage, like I think that there's three stages when you have been abused and you're kind of like coming out of that. It's the break free stage, right? Like that's when you're like you're getting rid of all this toxicity, you're getting rid of that. You're noticing what's within you that needs to to be divorced from, and you get rid of all that stuff. Then you go into this activate phase, right? That's the second phase where it's like you're getting yourself together, you're realizing who you are, you're realizing your purpose, you're realizing your calling, like you're starting to walk confidently in this, like you're like, yes, let's go, like you're in that work mode, beast mode, like getting it done, handling business, you're on top of your discernment game, you're like, you're making good decisions. Then you're in that elevate stage where like you look back and you're like, okay, I've accomplished a lot. I've done a lot. I've broken free from this. I know who I am now. I'm ready to walk into my purpose and my calling, and I also want to take myself, to the next level. I want to elevate, you know. I want to go into a higher level of realization, you know. I want to, be my higher self. I want to go further, and I want to help other people. It's like you get to this phase where, you're moving up and you seeing, your sisters, maybe a couple steps behind you, maybe they're in the break free phase, and I see it. And so now I'm at the point where it's like, hey, sis, I can help you, get through that phase. I was just there, a couple steps back, So I am going to like talk to y'all. I am going to do some self care. I've already washed my face this morning, and I've done a lip scrub. And what I'll do is I'll put a link to all the products that I use in the description after this video. So you guys can go ahead and get your amazing products. I am a discerner, right? That means I am gifted in discernment, beyond what I feel is the, the ration of discernment, I guess, that everybody else gets. It's like I have a keen sense of discernment. Um, and so, as I, elevate and, things, and I realize like I got to start making better decisions with like my skincare products. I need to, be more active. You guys know I love line dancing. And so yesterday, y'all, I actually planned on going live yesterday and doing this yesterday. It was supposed to be like self care Sunday, but then I realized, like, I didn't feel like it, I was like, I don't think I feel like it, And I'm also at this phase in my life where it's like, if it's not 100% yes, it's a no. You know what I mean? Like if I'm thinking like, I don't know if I want to do it, or even if like I've said like, yeah, girl, I'll be there, and I all of a sudden just don't feel like it no more. Like I listen to myself now. Like I listen to my body. And it's like, if things change within my body and I ain't feeling it, you know, like it's a no. I'm at that stage in my life, you know. So I'm really thinking hard about the things that I put on my skin. And also, you guys, like I want to get rid of every pair of uncomfortable shoes that I own, right? Like, yeah, like life is too short to wear uncomfortable shoes. You know what I'm saying? But so look behind me. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to unbox these shoes. Like, y'all, my son says I have an addiction, right? So y'all know, y'all, as y'all can see, I love shoes. That's kind of like my thing. But I don't buy expensive stuff, right? I don't buy expensive shoes. My favorite store at the moment, and has been probably for, I don't know, maybe 10 years, I guess, is Shoe Dazzle. Like I love Shoe Dazzle shoes. And so that's where like most of the shoes that you see behind you, that's where I got them from. And speaking of which, if y'all wanna donate to your girl's shoe fund, you know what I'm saying? Like you're welcome to donate if you like. But anyways, because y'all know I got an addiction. So we're gonna open all those up. I said I wasn't gonna open them until I went live and or did it on video, so you guys could do it with me. I got these around Christmas time, so they just been, they've been sitting here ever since. Um, because like they had this 80% off sale at Shoe Dazzle, so like your girl racked up. Okay, do you hear me? But I did get like those two right there, those two orange boxes. I got those from Amazon because they had some really cute cowgirl boots. And that's another thing. I'm also like on this whole cowgirl boot thing, like I just like I want to get rid of every single pair of uncomfortable shoes that I own. Like they gotta go. Like, do y'all feel me on that? Because I'm like, I just cannot. Like, I can't walk around in no uncomfortable shoes. And then when I go places, y'all, I be wanting to line dance. I can't line dance in no uncomfortable shoes. You know what I'm saying? So, child, I'm getting rid of everything. Like, so, some of that stuff is gonna go. Like, I still got some like high boots in there, and I want to get rid of those. And replace them with like more comfortable boots. Of course, like I'm in my cowgirl boot era, so I'm really feeling that. I wore cowgirl boots to two balls that we just had. Um, like in the past 2 months. Cowgirl boots, y'all. Like, yes, God. Okay. And then like there's so many out there. But one thing I do want to do is give me some actual like cowgirl boots, like the leather ones, the ones that you actually get like at a boot store. Like I want some of those one time in my life. So let me get started. I want you guys to do this self-care with me. I have totally neglected myself, you guys. Okay. But it's all for a good purpose, okay? Because I totally am about done with book 2. And I'm so excited for y'all to read that and to, really get involved in it. Did y'all see my line dance video yesterday? So y'all, I told you like yesterday I wasn't feeling like doing a video, even though I wanted to do this yesterday. But so what I did last night, I did a line dance video and posted it. But look, so y'all, I started doing this thing where I turn I speed up my videos like when I watch videos on YouTube because I ain't got that kind of time to just be sitting there, listening to slow stuff. So I speed it up to 1.5 times, right? And so I still have it speeded up, and I was like watching my line dance video. Y'all look at me in this ridiculous outfit. It's a onesie. I have two of them, y'all. I got two of them. It's my shark onesie. This thing is so comfortable, and it's like I can't think of a better outfit for like self care. Okay, like Y'all be trying to put on little sad robes and stuff, child. And I put on a onesie. Okay. So look at this, y'all. It's sped up. So, yeah. Now who does that? You know, me, child. You know, because like that's just what phase of life I'm in. You know, phase. This is a phase, a stage, or whatever it is, child. I'm just embracing it and going with it, child. Okay, so what we're gonna start off with first is a I'm gonna do some steam. I told y'all I already washed my face and it's so dry. I haven't put anything on it. So ooh. Oh, you know what I gotta do, you guys? I have a mat to put under this chair because it's so hard to roll it on this carpet. So I gotta put this. You know what I'm talking about? Like those plastic rugs that go under your chair to make it easier to roll. Oh, let me put some water in here first. So I got my little steamer thingy here. So I'm gonna do this to open up my pores and stuff. And then the other day, you guys, I went and got some CBD, um some hemp CBD. It's true raw and full spectrum hemp CBD oil. So I'm gonna put like a couple drops in my water. And I think this thing called for. Okay, we don't need to make no mess, Lord Jesus. How are y'all doing today? How was your weekend? Like what's I got a gallon of distilled water. So how was y'all's weekend? What did y'all do? What did I do? Oh, I went to a ball on Friday on Valentine's Day. It was nice. They had this band that was so good. Oh my gosh. They were so good. Like, I don't know why. Like, I wasn't even thinking. I should have got their contact information, but I know where I can get their information, but I should have got it then. And I should have went up and introduced myself, you guys. Like, that's how I normally do. I don't know what I was thinking that day. Okay, so I fill this thing up with some water. And I want to do this before I plug it in, you know, cuz for safety reasons, you know, safety first. Okay, how many drops y'all think I should put in there? I'm gonna put like I'm gonna put 5 drops. Okay, let's see. I don't know how many that was. I lost count. I lost count, y'all. It was a few of them though. So look, this is what this looks like. You can see that this is a V Spa, the hemp CBD oil. And it's pretty small. Like you see how it just fits in my hand like that? Like it's pretty small. So, but child, it's packed with all the goodness, honey. Okay. Am I gonna put some I think I might put some of these drops in there too. I got these drops too the other day, y'all. Called Fantastic Face. Can't wait. Focus. And this is a V spot too. And so I'm gonna put some put the links to everything. I should have put that beforehand, right? Like, what was I thinking? Okay, I don't even know how much I put in there, y'all. I need to be measuring it though, right? Like, so I can get the maximum usage of it. I need to clean up my space, you guys. Like this, like, y'all, this whole spot looks horrible. It's like I can't really function when it's like cluttered and messy, you know? Right now it's messy, so I gotta get rid of all this stuff back there, get rid of these boxes. Oh, you guys, you know what else I got? I got one of those vibration plate. Ooh, I got one of those vibration plates. Hold on. It just wasted a little bit. Um, so that's why you gotta do it without plugging it in. You never know, child. I don't know. I might have. Ooh. They say it's supposed to like help with lymphatic drainage and help you lose weight and help with pain, everything, you guys. So I'm anxious to try it. But I said I can't, it's right there. I said I can't open it until I put all my stuff away, right? Because I don't need to reward myself for bad behavior. Like that's how I think about it. Like I really want to play with it, but I can't because I haven't handled my business first. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't put all my junk away. And I gotta get rid of these boxes. Like it's just a hot mess. But see, like at the top of the thing, uh-oh, hold on. At the top of the thing, I got like a couple empty shoe boxes. So I got some space. And then of course, hold on, let me turn this on so this could be heating up. So I got it all hooked up now. Got my water in there, so now it's heating up. So I got a little space, and of course I told y'all um I'm going to get rid of any shoes that are uncomfortable. Like y'all, it's 2025, okay? At our big age, we cannot be walking around in uncomfortable shoes, okay? Like shoes that's hurting our feet, giving us bunions, giving us corns. You know what I'm saying? Like, sis, we got to put an end to that madness. I mean, like, y'all, there were literally times that my shoes were they hurt so bad. They were so uncomfortable that even when I would sit down with them on, like just having them on, oh my God, was like terrible. And yeah, I'm just not doing it no more. I'm just not. So it's like I'm kind of going into this different phase of like my style too, you know? And like doing what is comfortable and like what's sensible, you know, because even like there were even times where I would wear like clothes that didn't like fit properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just like, I'm over that, you know? And probably because I was in denial about my weight, because there's sometimes like, you know, my weight just goes up and down. And so, you know, sometimes I think I'm in a little bit of denial about my weight. And so I be wanting to wear like, you know, a certain size just for my mind's sake, you know, like it's crazy, right? But like, it's true. Hold on. I was in denial. Okay, I'll make sure y'all can hear me good. Y'all like the video when y'all come in. Um, so yeah, like sometimes I'll be just in denial about my weight. So, you know, I would just want to wear a smaller size because in my mind, I just didn't want to go up to the bigger size, you know? Like it was just a mental thing. Like, it's crazy. But it's true. So there we go. It is what it is, child. So while I'm doing this, I guess I should clean up my space a little bit. I still got a little bit of a makeup mess here from when I was getting ready for the ball, um, the scholarship ball. It was a sweetheart scholarship ball. Um, and the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity is the one that hosted this ball. So oh, let me spray these too. Do y'all spray like y'all makeup brushes with a little alcohol when y'all get done? Like I don't always wash them, you know, like all the time, but I will spray them with some alcohol and I will like use a makeup remover to clean them, you know, just to get that little dirt off of them, that you know, old makeup residue. I need to quit moving so I can actually like enjoy this steam. Can y'all see this? This helps to like open up your pores and stuff. So like when I put the mask on, And this is the mask right here. So, like a little bit right there. This is the mask. So when I put it on, it's, with my pores being open, it's gonna help that medicine to get in there real good. Like, y'all, I've had this really bad breakout like over the last, like, I don't know, month or so. And uh-oh, it's just terrible. Like, it's been the worst thing, and I've been trying to, like, I've been self-conscious about it, so I hadn't really been going out much without makeup on, and then but then it was like it's been hard to, like, even cover it up, cover up this breakout that I've had. But, I don't know if it's the fibromyalgia or the lupus that it has caused this, but, or it's probably just something that I've eaten. I don't know, you know. But all I know is I do need to make better decisions in my eating, and I need to manage my fibromyalgia and lupus better. You know what I'm saying? So so it doesn't really matter what the cause is. I know that there are things that I have to do to make this better. To so it's like let's take accountability. Take accountability. Oh, let's make a song. Let's take accountability. Hey, 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 take accountability. Y'all, somebody to come up with a beat for it. Let's take accountability. What y'all think? That's a good song, right? I be swearing I'm somebody who could just make up songs and stuff. I did write this one song like when I was a teenager though. I did. I used to write poetry too, you guys, but um I don't know, I stopped doing that, like, I think maybe like in high school. You know? I just my interests changed from poetry to um I guess like more advice stuff. Like y'all, I actually had an advice column. I had an advice column in high school, y'all. It was called Dear Delores. Like a Dear Abby type. And child, who I thought I was trying to give folks advice and stuff. So like the students would like there was like boxes like strategically placed around the school, like they were supposed to be anonymous, right? Of course, like most Dear Abby is, right? And and students would put their questions in the box. And so then I would go around and get the questions and then answer them in the school newspaper. Yeah. Who did I think I was though? Like trying to give folks advice. But child, I did. Okay. They was really asking me for advice, child. And I give it. Okay. I gave it. I sure did. Um, but yeah, child, I thought I was a dear Abby. Look. Okay. So yeah, so I guess like, I've always wrote, I've always like, had that creative side um about me. And but the crazy part is, y'all, like I was never good at spelling. Like how does that work? It's like how do you like call yourself a writer? you know, enjoy writing, but can't spell worth a lick, y'all. Oh my God, it used to be bad. And then I swear, y'all, I was a little touched with a little dyslexia. Like my letters, like it was like some letters I just couldn't get right. It was mostly my B's and D's, y'all. I don't even know why. Like, and it's crazy, right? Like, how you go? Like, my name starts with a D, so how do I get that mixed up? But it was just something about it. Like, I just couldn't get it together. And but anyway, so I kind of had like a little bit of a conflict there because I kind of doubted myself because I couldn't spell good, but I love to write. So, child, look, the best thing that came out for me was like all this spell check stuff, like because I don't think they really had that when I was when I was coming up like that. I don't think they really had it like that. I don't remember it being like that. I remember having to still go to the dictionary, like the actual book, the dictionary book, and look up words to find out how to spell them. You know. See, y'all don't remember them days, okay? Like y'all youngins don't remember them. Like y'all will never understand the struggle, honey. Okay, like those were the days. So it's crazy. But and then I also struggled, because my mom held me back in the 5th grade, right? So like I repeated the 5th grade. And I remember y'all, like I remember being times like I'd be up so late just trying to get it. Like, it would just be something where I couldn't comprehend stuff. It was just like I just couldn't get it. And so my mom was like, she said she felt like I just wasn't on the same level, because I had one of those birthdays. My birthday's in August. And then, like there's this cutoff time. And sometimes, people get slipped in and they'd be like the youngest one of their class, because they had like one of the later birthdays. Y'all know how that works. It's weird. But, and so I guess, I was, like wasn't quite on the level as the older kids, right? So my mom held me back. And I don't even remember if I ever had a problem with it. I remember like at some point feeling a ways, like I don't know, maybe feeling dumb a bit, because it's like I repeated a grade, But then on top of that, I also remember not struggling anymore. Like after I repeated, I just remember like being able to like comprehend things better. Like it was just like I just didn't struggle anymore. But I don't know if at the time I really like understood that my mom did this for my good, and that, this wasn't a bad thing, and it wasn't that I was dumb. But I went through that. And so in high school, like when I finished school, um, I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college. I was like, I'm not smart enough to go to college. And my brother, it was one of my brothers, his name is Jay. Child, I'm gonna tell y'all about him one day, but um he encouraged me to go. And so I started off at this business college. And it was like, it's one of those programs that's not like accredited, and you know, they give you like a diploma, certificate, like almost like an associate's degree or whatever. But you know, I don't know. It seemed like back in the day, it was like a lot of them. Like I don't know if it was like a shady program or whatever, but it just now kind of like looking back on it, it seems like it was a little bit shady because it's like it's no longer there. It's like it just didn't even stand the test of time. So anyway, so I went and got a associates in business. And that's when I started to enjoy certain things about school. Like I hated algebra, but when I went to this business school, I loved like accounting math. And I think that was my first time realizing like there are different types of math. Like there's accounting math, and then there's this algebra, and then there's like, there's like just basic math, and then like but there's like levels to it, or like, you know, just different aspects to it or whatever. And I was actually good at it. And so I was like, dang, maybe I'm not as stupid as I thought I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, I was able to get up the nerve to go to an actual university. And then so here I am. you know, a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees later, you know? And I don't even think like most that always like resonates with me, that like I actually have 2 master's degrees, and it's like that coming from somebody who was held back in the 5th grade and didn't think that she was smart enough to even go to college, so use this like stepping stone of going to a business school and and getting an associate's degree, just kind of taking that chance and you know and getting up, that confidence to go to actual university. Y'all, it's crazy. It's crazy when you really look back on it. And sometimes I honestly forget like what God has um stood by my side through and guided me through and like worked out for me, cuz I don't think that like everything that happened to me or what everything that was done was always like God's doing. I know like I made my own decisions. But I just thank God that even in my like ignorance, that he works everything out for my good, and I truly believe that. So so here I am, 3 degrees later. But see, it didn't happen like, in that order. Like when I was in undergrad, I don't even remember what my undergrad GPA was, but it wasn't great. I was a mom, a single mom in college. I had my first son when I was 20. And so, I did all this, with having a child, and so we kind of like, went through the trenches together. During that time, I was on food stamps, I was on welfare, I was on WIC, I was on all of the government programs. But never in my mind did I ever think that I would stay on those programs. I didn't wanna be on them, to begin with, but I always knew that it was something that I needed to do in order to get to where I wanted to be, right? So these are, services that I need to use, they're available to me and I need to use them in order to, use this as a stepping stone to get better. Now, what we see a lot of times today is that people use welfare system as, like that's it. Like they're almost like looking forward to it. I've seen interviews with girls that have said, like they're gonna have babies and then, get on child support and get on welfare and get food stamps and all of this stuff. Like it's something to aspire to, but it's not, it's something to use to get to where you need to be in life, And I don't know where we went wrong with that, but I use those programs knowing full well that, I'm going to work my behind off so that I don't need these programs, you know? Okay, I think that's it for my steam. Is that it? It sounds like it's about it for the steam. And so yeah, so I use those programs, child. I use every program that I could. I was on Section 8, in income-based housing, had, income-based utilities and stuff like that, And like it was just a blessing to have those programs available to me and I used them and got off of them, I used them. I did what I was supposed to do, to further myself and to provide a better life for my sons, and that's what I did. So then I end up graduating with my bachelor's degree, but mind you, like y'all, I was still lost. I still didn't really know, like I still didn't really know like what I wanted to do. I changed my major. I don't know how many times. Like it had to be at least 5 times. At least. I had so many interests. It was like how can I just decide one thing, like, and why? Like, who came up with this when we got to do it like this? So I switch majors and keep switching majors. And when you in a certain program, you got to like complete the program. Like they have a layout of the courses that you need to take in order to say that you have done that program, to get a to be able to get a degree in that program, right? But because I'm hop, skipping, and jumping through these majors, you know, I don't have enough in any one major to say, okay, like this is what I choose. So I'm in school, and it seems like 4 years, and I know like I need to go ahead and keep moving to the next step. Like I can't make this, you know, a permanent thing where I'm just like permanently trying to figure my life out. So then I realized that I can get a liberal studies degree because I have all these random classes, since I switched majors so many times that I could just do a liberal studies degrees, which is a little bit of everything, right? Because it's liberal studies, you know, you're gonna get a lesson in um a few different things. I mean a lot of different things. So I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and get this get this degree done, because I need to accomplish this. Like I need to, finish this and be on to the next level. Plus, I'm going to end up running out of money because the government is just not going to keep just pay for you to not progress, right? And so I finished it. Great, right? Awesome. Your girl got a degree. It's in liberal studies, so it ain't nothing specific. So I still really don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. So I end up working for the university I went to, right? Um, which is great. And immediately, right? Because I'm not even messing around. I'm knowing that I need to keep leveling up, right? And I need to keep using these resources while they're available to me. And for some reason, we felt like the like welfare, and maybe it was because there was a transition in the presidents at the time, just like kind of like how it is right now, right? um and my mom was warning me. She was like, you need to go ahead and finish because you never know how long these resources will be available to you. You don't need to be like complacent and or taking my time and finishing. I need to use it and keep moving up in life. And so I got my master's degree. I mean, I started immediately on my master's degree. Like I didn't wait a semester, I wasn't messing around, y'all. Like I started immediately, and I finished it. I think I finished it fairly fast. And I got a master's in public administration and business. So that was my first one. And when I finished that master's program, I decided um, to put in my notice at the job. I got a different job. So I started working for the city of Jacksonville. It was the city that the school was located in. And it was the city that I lived in. And so I started working for the city as an assistant city planner and a grant writer. And the whole thing during that time was like the reason I took that job is because um I was being groomed and being um basically like on the job training to take the position of the city planner and become the city planner, right? So that was like my job trajectory. Well, when I got in there, I think I maybe like 6 months in. I don't even know if it took that long. I realized like that the lady that was in that position didn't have any plans on leaving that position. And it was like we kind of like butted heads on that. I think she kind of like saw me as someone who is going to take her position, even though that is what was understood. I don't think in her heart she could really like embrace, actually letting this job go, retiring and doing nothing. It was like this job was her life. And of course, like now I understand it. I understand how people can get in these jobs and it's like they could be in these jobs for 30 plus years, and they're like, well, what would I do if I retire? It's like these jobs are what's keeping people alive, like just keep going to work and having this routine and this schedule and interacting with people and, you know, feeling purposeful, meaningful, like your days aren't just a waste. So I can like now I get it, but back then I didn't, because it's like I'm trying to take this position and I'm seeing you don't really want to let it go. Plus, the position itself wasn't even really making no type of money for real. It was like it's not even giving what it's supposed to give. Okay, it's really not. And I started getting my bills, for for my master's degree. I started getting the bills in, y'all. Them student loans started coming due, honey. And this job, I was not going to be able to pay my student loans, raise two kids, and maintain anything. Like I just knew that wasn't going to happen. Plus, with all the drama that was like going on in the family, like with my father, I kind of wanted to distance myself, like I wanted to, move away and, kind of like establish my own thing. But I didn't want to go too far. It wasn't like I just wanted to just, move on the other side of the world and get away from my family. You know, I just needed to have some distance. Um, and I was not, I promise y'all, I never thought about going in the military. All my brothers, both of my parents, all of them served. Everybody served before I ever went in. I was the very last one to join. But I do outrank everybody. Okay. So I do outrank everybody. Okay. Okay. Look, won't he do it? I just like to say that because I retired as a captain. So um how I got there was after that master's degree, after them student loans came due, child, working for the city and realizing this lady really didn't want to let that job go. I'm like, I got to do something. And that's when like the military, I was like, the military is sounding really good right now. I can join, go in as an officer, they'll pay back, some of my student loans. I'll be able to travel with my kids and have the safety and the security of the military, like um also, of course the benefits are great, you know. I'd be able to kind of like really figure out what I wanted to do and um and just get experience and all that stuff. It just seemed like at that time the military made sense. Like it made 100% sense. And to be honest with you, it's one of the best decisions I ever made was joining the military. Now I know it's not for everybody, but I'm actually one of those people that believes that most people should serve like 2 years when they graduate high school. You know, like 2, 3 years. You'll it's like it's just like a different world, but the training and stuff is like to have that bonus on top of like high school, but it's not like you're just jumping out there into the real world, you know and it's not like you're still leaning on your parents, like, but you do have backing, you do have support because you have an organization that you are part of. But and then of course the physical training and all of that stuff like that, I'm telling you, I really believe that everybody should serve unless there are extenuating circumstances and or whatever, but I think everybody should. But I'm also aware that it's not for everybody. Okay, I want to still admit that, like I know it's not for everybody, but whatever. I'm not gonna say it no more. Yeah, it's a good idea to join. It's a good idea. It was the best decision that I made. So okay, so but I ended up getting sick. Okay, so I ended up getting sick in the military, and just 1 year. I want to say it was like the beginning of 2012, maybe, and I got this really bad rash all around my face. similar to like what I was telling you I was dealing with recently, like some type of flare up, right? But this was before I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia or anything like that. It was just like I just had a random outbreak or breakout, outbreak. Uh, doesn't it make it makes a big difference if you say outbreak or breakout? Like the order of the words makes a huge difference. But anyway, so I had a breakout and I didn't know what it was from. I didn't know what would treat it. Everything that I used seemed to like make it worse, and it was burning my skin. I mean, it was just bad. So I had that. Then I started having other symptoms. It was like random stuff, y'all, like random symptoms that just didn't make no type of sense. And so I would just go to the doctor. I started having migraines. I mean, like sensitivity to light and sound. I started having like this really bad fatigue. And it was like I just like I had to peel myself out of bed, like literally peel myself. And I just wasn't that type of person, before that. I wasn't like a type that, like now I am like the nap queen. Okay. Like I wake up to nap. I'm like, hold on, okay, let me see. I just woke up. Let me see when I'm gonna get this nap in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I look forward to the nap because of, how my fatigue works. But before all that, I wasn't that type, to just be sleeping, sleeping, sleeping all the time. And so it was a shock to me to be at this point where it's like I can't even, pull myself together. So I'm starting to miss like formation. I'm starting to like, go to sick call a lot, but nothing's making sense. So it's kind of looking like I'm crazy, like how are you having migraines? Then the next minute your stomach hurts. Then the next minute it's like you got tingling in your body. And then, and it's like I have all these random symptoms. So they're doing blood work. They're putting me on rest. They're like, sending me to psych, all of the things, all of the, things to say, okay, we checked the block and we're, trying to figure out what the root cause of this and how we can solve this problem. And, but like nothing's working. In fact, it's like, it's getting worse. Just getting worse. And it's interfering with my job. It's interfering with my ability to be a good mother, and it's really becoming a problem. Now at that same time, I started going through a divorce from my kid's father. Now mind you, okay, like let me just go ahead and go into this. Okay. My kid's father is actually the third man I married. Okay. So I got married when I was 18 years old, right? I told y'all in one of my videos that the only advice I remember my father ever giving me is that I needed to get married young because I wasn't going to be pretty forever. And so that's exactly what I did. And plus, it was during that time where we believed that the way to get out of your parents' house is to get married. Plus, my parents were pastors. So it was like, you're not just gonna just leave and get your own place. Not a girl, like the only way, not the only way, but the way you're leaving the house is to get married. I didn't even think of going to college and living on campus and, obviously because I didn't think I was smart enough to go. And then I got pregnant. So it wasn't no living in the dorms and, living that college life and doing all that stuff. So now it's like I'm a big girl. I got a kid and I got to handle my business. And so I do. I handle my business. Um, so where was I? Okay. So mind you though, right? Like I end up like getting married to this one guy, get a divorce like nearly immediately. It was less than a year. Okay. Your girl realized like, oh, it was a mistake. My bad. Let me correct, you know. So so I got, divorced pretty quick after that. Had to get away from that guy. And so then I ended up meeting my kid's father, right? But even though we had kids together, um I, I chose not to marry him, and I ended up marrying a different guy. Okay, ended up marrying a different guy. It's crazy. And but by that time I had already had my second son, who was, by the same man who ended up being my third husband. Um this the second husband, he didn't last that long either, you guys. Like, but at this point, I'm realizing, like, I'm beginning to realize that mm, I'm kind of, I'm kind of like not making good decisions, like, so, like, I need to get out of here, like, I need to get away from this, I need to switch it up, like, majorly, okay? And so by this time I'm already divorced from the second guy. And y'all know what's so trifling? Y'all know what's so trifling is that when I got married to the second guy, I had already had both of my sons by the what ended up being the third guy that I married, right? And I ended up getting my tubes tied while I was married to the second guy without him knowing. Y'all, the nerve. Okay, the nerve. Who does that? I did that. I really can't even believe I did it, but I did it, child. Like, I would do stuff like that, and I was so unapologetic. Like, so unapologetic. Like, I'm not having kids with him. In fact, I'm not having no more kids because this wasn't a good experience for me. And I don't want no more. Okay. So I decided I wasn't gonna have no more. I went and got my tubes tied, and that guy didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. Oh, that's so trifling. Oh, that's trife. Just did it behind his back. I did that, y'all. I did that. Oh, oh, I was a piece of work, God. Oh. So anyway, child, let that guy go. Child. After I done did trifling, like trifling, child. But it ended up getting physical. And you know what's crazy about it? Is that this guy told me, he said, your father told me to hit you. Like, I'm for real, y'all. He said that. He was like, he told me that my father told him to hit me, like, to get me under control. First of all, ain't no controlling Delores. Okay. Okay. Ain't no control, ain't no taming me. That's first of all. And second of all, what? That's what he said though. But y'all know what's crazy? I believe him. That's what's crazy. I believe him. I mean, because, like, why would he say that? And I wouldn't necessarily put it past my father to say that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I believe him. So anyway, I got rid of him, child. And then, so now I'm a single mom, again, you know, and, and I'm not really fooling up with, the kid's father. I mean, we're probably like still going back and forth a bit because, he's kind of feeding me this line, like, I want my family to be together. You know, he, you know, he's acting like, he's talking like he really wants to be with me, but his what I'm getting is that he also wants to play, right? Because he's in them streets. We went to the same college and stuff. He would be at those parties and I would be at home taking care of our kids, right? And whenever I would try to move on, it, like, guys would say that hold on, y'all. Hello? This is she. Yes. Oh, okay. Tomorrow too. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye. Oh, child. I sure did forget about that appointment too. I'm so glad they do those call reminders, child, because oh, I would miss it if they didn't remind me. And I have it. I sometimes I have it on my calendar, and still like it goes beyond me. But anyways, so he's feeding me this line like he wants his family to be together, and and so sometimes I'm buying it, but then he start acting stupid, so I let him go. But then he like begs me back, and he's kind of blocking really because he doesn't want other guys talking to me whenever I start talking to somebody else. He's like, saying stuff to the guy, and just being a nuisance, whenever I go out, he was in the same spot. He would kind of harass me, you know. I couldn't like dance with anybody, and he would like, I mean, just so freaking annoying. So I mean, and what other dude wants to like deal with that? So it's like I couldn't blame somebody for not wanting to talk to me. Um, because I mean, like my baby daddy acting the fool, right? So, okay, but we're still like kind of going back and forth. And and so once I, get to this point where it's like the military is the logical option for me. Doesn't make sense to keep living like this. I got a job, so of course they're cutting me back on the assistance that I'm getting. So, but I'm not able to kinda, like, like, really grab a hold of my finances and really, like, be comfortable, and I didn't like that, and I knew I couldn't pay back my student loans. It was like, "No way." I think I had gotten a bill for, like, $600, and I'm like, $600? Like, there's no way I can pay that. I got 2 kids. I got these kids in 2 kids in daycare. They're just 4 years apart. So it's like one's in aftercare, one's in daycare, and y'all, like, them daycare bills, child, I don't even know what they are these days, right? Because my kids are 20 and 24 now. But child, it was expensive back then. So I I empathize with the moms today. Okay. But like, okay, so in the military though, they don't just like accept you with 2 kids. You a single mom. They're like, okay, what's gonna happen with them kids? If you get deployed, you at training, like they need to be signed over to somebody else, or you need to have a spouse or something, right? And so I thought about the last thing I thought about was actually marrying their father, okay? But that's what ended up happening. Spoiler alert. Okay. So I thought about him going to my parents. Of course, I already had a tumultuous past with my father, and I knew I didn't want my kids staying with him. You know what I mean? Staying with my no, not with him around. No, absolutely not. I didn't want to deal with that. There would be no way I would put my kids in that position, and I would be away and not knowing what's going on with them and my father. No, absolutely not. So, I thought about like, of course, signing them over, all the stuff. But eventually it was just like the most logical thing to do is to get married. You get married, then you don't have to worry about it. I don't have to sign over custody. You don't have to worry about anything. And they can actually stay with their father, because see, like by this point, we're like trying to work things out, and he's liking the fact that I'm in this position where it's like either I need to get married to him or I really don't have very much options. And I mean, why would I sign over my kids? It's like they wouldn't even be mine. So they wouldn't even get like full benefits. Or it was something weird like that. And I was just like, that just defeats the whole purpose. No, absolutely not. Um, and then I had even heard of like during this time, like where people would sign over custody of their kids for like a certain time period and have problems getting their kids back, after that time period. It was like crazy, you know? But anyway, so I ended up getting married to be able to go into the military. Okay. So I did that. And so now I'm in the military and I'm doing pretty good, y'all. I am discovering things about myself that I never knew about me. I never knew that I actually enjoy running, you know? Like we ran a lot, you know? And I remember being a kid and trying to run track. And I actually ran track. for a little while. And I quit after the very first track meet. Like, I just quit. First, and I don't even know why they had me running hurdles. I was just yeah, I'm only 5'4". I was just like, no, I'm like 5'3". Yeah, I'm 5'3". And so I'm like, why y'all got me jumping hurdles? Like, what is going on here? Y'all, hurdles, child. So but I'm gonna try it, like I'm a team player. I want to try this, I'll try my hand at track. One of my older brothers ran track and he was really good, like really, really, really good. He was in the newspaper and everything else for his track abilities. And so I was like, I'm gonna try my hand at it. So at the first track meet, um, of course, I didn't win. I didn't win nothing, child. I think I probably got knocked over the hurdles and everything else. Y'all know them videos that be out there where them girls be trying to run, jump them hurdles, and them hurdles be jumping them. Okay, like it was like that. It was like that. Y'all was bad. And then I wore these thick socks. Y'all know them like thick white socks that we used to scrunch down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I had some of them on. Y'all, I swear those socks felt like they weighed like 20 pounds each. Y'all, I swear it was really the socks' fault why I didn't win the race and why them hurdles was kicking my okay, it was really the socks' fault. Okay. Them socks were not the right socks. So child, so I'm trying to jump them hurdles, whatever. But see, after the track meet, my father laughs at me. You know what I mean? Like, dude, and that's kind of like that's how we was in our family. Like we would laugh at each other for you know, stuff like we would laugh at each other like that. And even though you like felt bad, or maybe you was embarrassed, or maybe you were really, really doubting your abilities and what you needed was encouragement to keep trying, you know, that wasn't what I got. Okay, child, that wasn't what I got. I got laughed at. Okay. Do you hear me? I got laughed at. Them thick socks on, scrunched down, weighing 50 pounds each, child. Okay. Listen, I got laughed at. And I never went back. Never went back. Never tried it again. So when I was in the military and I was running and we were doing, like our PT tests and stuff I mean, I didn't really like the PT test, but like I started to really enjoy it. And I was like, dang, like who would have knew that I actually like this? And I don't know, maybe, back then what I needed to do was just try different things in track and field. Maybe what I really was a distance runner, because like in when I was in OCS, in officer candidate school, right? Which is where you go after basic training when you're on the officer track, right? So when I was in officer candidate school, our like we had our class captain, and he was training for some type of marathon, child. And he would use our PT time because he would be over our physical therapy time. So or physical training. And so he would be over it, as our class captain. He would make us run like distance, like he's training for a marathon. He making us train for a marathon too. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to run a marathon, you know. But so during our physical training time, we will run like all over the base, like run all over y'all, like 10 miles, plus. And but I actually like didn't obviously didn't know that I could do that. I was never, into it after my father laughed at me. I was never into like anything, any sports or anything, just singing. And so I never knew I'd love it. And so what I needed to do was like my father should have said, well, maybe that isn't your sport. Maybe hurdles isn't, the sport that you need to do. Try, you know, talk to the coach, try, sprints, try distance running, cross country, try different things. But no, this Negro laughed at me. And it was like that just kind of like broke me. And so I just never tried that again. Um, but so okay, so um, I end up at some point getting hurt, right? This was like between basic training and officer candidate school. So for like a month or so, no, it seemed like it was a couple months. It seemed like it was a couple of months, like probably like 3 months. I was just kind of like in this medical hold status where I was trying to rehab my injuries. It was like in my knees and stuff. And hold on, y'all. Hey, I'm on live, baby. Yeah, you coming over here? Why? Why must you be this way? And why would you need me to send you the number? You can Google it. Y'all broke down somewhere? You talking about like your account number or something? Probably. Yeah, I never used it because I never could find my card. All right, sure. Call me if you need me. All right, bye. Love you. Sorry you guys, that was my son's son. Where was I? Okay, so at some point I get hurt and I'm in a medical hold status and I'm kind of getting nervous because they're like threatening to kind of like keep me at the rank I'm at, which is like E5, and it's getting I'm getting kind of scared because I'm like if I can't, rehab these injuries, then I'm not going to be able to, perform in officer candidate school. So I'm working hard and I end up, being able to get my strength up, get those injuries taken care of. And then I end up going to class and I do very well. Okay. Like very well. All my scores are good. So good that I end up getting the job I wanted. I got to pick it. And in everything. I excelled in everything. I got a coin for my voice. So for singing, well calling cadence, but I was singing cadence, okay? Like everybody else called cadence, child. I was singing it. Okay, do you understand? There's a difference. Okay. So anyway, I ended up getting, rewarded for that because I was that good. Um, and so, keep moving forward. Now I still have these injuries, but and I'm still like outperforming. But you got to remember, like once you get an injury, you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Those things start to get worse over time, and so that's what was happening. Like my body was starting to like really break down. But like mind you, I didn't even go into the military till I was 28 years old. You know what I mean? Like I was actually a old head. You know, like even in basic training, I think I was one of the oldest students in the class, and maybe like the top five, students in the class. I was the, oldest because like in basic training, most of the people that are in there are, fresh out of high school, so they're young people. But, and then here I go, 28 years old head, in there trying to keep up with them kids and did. Okay. Do you hear me? Hmm. I absolutely did. And I was a good shooter. Y'all excelled in that. I mean, like I was a bad girl. Do you hear me? I was a bad girl. Oh, so anyway, I ended up being a human resources officer, right? So doing human resources, and then like my unit has like more human resources officer than they need, which is I guess a good thing. So they gave me a different job as a safety officer. So I become the safety officer of the whole brigade, right? And um I've got battalions under me, company, all of these levels. So I'm actually over a lot of people, like the whole unit. I'm over the whole unit in safety, So I'm like putting on safety briefs and, putting out safety messages and doing inspections and all of that stuff, like going around to the different buildings. I'm checking fire extinguishers. I'm checking for, like, all kind of safety issues, like if I see a safety issue, I correct it, or, I write people, up to correct it and stuff like that. So, and then I'm getting to know like people in the community, like fire chiefs and, police and, the guys who do like the motorcycle training classes and like all these different organizations on the post. I mean, like, and I'm thriving, right? Because this is like the absolute perfect job for me because it's an office job still, right? But I'm also able to like get out and mingle with people, go to all these different bases. And well, I went to a couple different bases because we had part of our unit was located in different places. So I would even go there, do safety inspection. I mean, like y'all had it made. Had it made. Then I started getting sick. Doggone it. Messed my whole thing up, y'all. Like when I tell y'all I was living life, honey. Living life. Then I started getting sick. Ugh. Then I'm going through a divorce. Then I end up getting this case against me. Y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was like fighting for my life. I was fighting for my life. Do you hear me? Oh, I was fighting for my life. Because I ended up getting this case. It was like, like when you're in the military, you have to do your analysis like all the time, right? They randomly pick you, like everybody got to do it. Maybe they just randomly pick it's just whatever. You just know you're gonna be drug tested often. Um, so I end up, going in for this random drug test. Now, mind you, this day it was one of those days where it was like I could not peel myself out of the bed. I had already missed the morning formation, and it was like, I think I had even missed like that initial work call time. So I was going to be late for work. So I was already in a very bad way. Then, so they called me and was like, your name was chosen for your analysis. So I came in, right? I had to come in. I was like, I'll be there like, in an hour, a couple hours or whatever. I was still trying to pull myself together to go in. And then maybe like 2 months later, I don't know, like it was a while back. It was a while later. I end up getting a call to go to where did I go? Oh, first I had to go to like the drug test people, right? Went there first. And of course they asked me questions like, what is this is was found on your analysis, and I looked over your medical records and there's not this drug in your medical records because it was a prescription, right? I mean, you would have to have a prescription to use this, right? Prescription narcotic. And I was like, no, like I don't use that. I never have. I don't know why that would show up in my system. I was like, I started asking questions like why, how did it do that? I was like, are you sure it's mine? Like asking like all type of questions, trying to get to the bottom of like why y'all got the wrong results because clearly they're not my results because I don't even know what that is. And of course I didn't take it. So what are you talking about? So he was like, okay, okay, Then from there, I had to go like to the police station, y'all. So they put me in this little room, nothing in it, like a little, I don't know, it felt like a little jail cell. And they left me in there like for forever. So like eventually, like I fall asleep. Like I think it's like a little chilly in there. So I end up just kind of laying down and like nearly like dozing off. Which probably if they was watching me, which probably they were, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what they do, If you ever watch any crime shows, they was probably watching me. And they like, this chick really just go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's necessarily like the sign of guilt, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I just was like, What am I gonna do? And of course, like when it happened, I'm thinking to myself, like, how did this happen? Like that there's literally like no way that how this happened. So my mind is racing. And when I talked to the doctor previously, like I asked him, I was like, so like he was like, this it was found in your urine. And I was like, but what like how much was found, you know? Because I'm already knowing from I guess from previous jobs that I did, like that there's like like levels, you know? So I'm like, well, how much was in there? And I was like, do you think it's like a false positive? You know, because I know false positives can happen too, right? And so it's like, you think it's a false positive or whatever, you know? So he looks and it's like the level is okay, let's say the threshold is a 10, right? Anything under a 10, they'll consider it like a false positive or inconclusive or something like that, right? But over a 10 is like there's no excuse type of thing, right? So let's say mine was like the threshold is a 10, mine was like an 11. So like you could say, well, it was just right there at the 10, like it's just one difference, you know, but still it's one difference. And it's because it's different, you know, it's not 10, it's not under 10. It's 11. Okay. So even though it's just right there next to 10, it don't matter. It's not 10, it's an 11. And that's guilty, you know. That's a like a positive reading. So even though it's low, I'm just like, you know, they're like, it don't matter. So I have to go to the police station. I'm in that room, and I'm like, obviously they're gonna want to know who I got it from, you know, because obviously if it's not mine, not in my medical records, where did I get it? Like, is somebody selling pills? Are you buying pills from somebody? Like, what's going on here? And I'm just like, no, like, I don't even know how this is in my system. There has to be something wrong. There has to be a false positive. There has to be incorrect results. There had to be some type of mix up because I didn't do this. But then in my mind, I'm like, well, did I go somewhere and somebody tried to drug me? Like, was this because turns out that this medication is like I think it was like a sleep aid, you know, like a narcotic sleep aid. So I'm like, dang, was somebody like trying to date rape me or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is happening? Y'all freaking out. I'm freaking out. Do you hear me? But I'm also like trying to be level headed about it, right? Trying to be cool, calm, and collected so that I can try to figure out what is going on. Because obviously, like, I know that, like, you're because I mean, like, I was a human resources officer, so I saw when you know officers or soldiers, anybody was getting kicked out of the army for those for drug reasons. You know, usually it's like marijuana and stuff like that. Is you know, but it's this is considered you know a violation because it's not my medication even though it is a medication that could be just prescribed. It wasn't a street drug, it was still a drug, you know, that wasn't mine. So y'all, I'm like, I'm already knowing they gonna try, man, they about to kick me out. They probably think I'm some type of addict or something. Like, what is happening, you know? And then of course they test me. I have been tested like since that result came that test was done. And they tested me when I went to the doctor's office. Then when they called me in there, they tested me. Then I think they tested me at the police station. Now all my tests have always came back clean since that test and before that test. So I'm like, how can you take this one test and be like, it's that conclusive when it's just one step away from like the you know what I'm saying the threshold number, and you know me. Like, you know that I'm the safety officer. You know, like, all my evaluations have been good. I've never done anything wrong. You know, at least that they caught. Okay, because listen, your girl wasn't innocent, so I can't even say pretend. I can't pretend, y'all, that I was innocent and that I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I was definitely guilty of some things, but I was not guilty of that. Okay, I didn't do that. So, um, but I already know like that's like where they're going. I'm just like, well, y'all know me, you know, like you know, like I've never done anything wrong. You know, I always have high records. My immediate like I'm in like direct leadership, like the highest levels of leadership in the brigade. I'm like right there. My office is right outside of the commander's office. I go directly to him. I write his safety briefs, the briefs that he puts his name on. I was the one writing them, like I'm a writer, right? So I'm the one writing them. He puts his name on it. So I take it to him to get his signature and all of that stuff. So he knows me, and I'm just like, but you know me, you know. Well, they was like, we don't know you. Okay, we thought we knew you up until you had this positive drug test. Now we like, we don't know you. Okay, like who are you? And I'm like, dang, like that's how y'all feel. And then I'm going through this divorce, and I'm like, I'm sick, I don't know what's going on with me, and then like all of this stuff just gets compounded and compounded and compounded, right? Then, as if that ain't enough, okay, what your girl do? Something dumb, right? So during this time that I'm going through divorce, right? I'm going like back and forth to Alabama because where I obviously ended up coming back to after I got out of the military. And so I'm going back and forth, going to court, bringing the kids back and forth so that they still see their father, plus, I like being at home, so, when I'm and then able to just go back, I still have friends and stuff here. So I would visit. And, and so my father encourages me to get a gun, right? And he even helps me pay for it. So I pay for maybe a third of it, maybe half of it, and he pays for the other half. And he takes me to go get the gun, and and I love the gun. Okay, I still have the gun to this day. But anyway, so he takes me to go and get a gun. Now, one thing about my father is he was always a protector. Okay, that's where I got to really hand it to him. Um, he was a protector. He made sure that, like we were vigilant about our safety, So it was like, even though he went overboard in a lot of ways, he still made it, like ingrained it in us that it was a priority to maintain your personal safety, right? So I ended up getting a gun. I didn't have one prior to that. And so when I come back from Alabama and I'm going through I'm getting back on base. I end up at this point living on base. So I go through the base. We're going through a regular checkpoint, and sometimes they just randomly pick cars to test, to sniff, do the drug test, all of that stuff, right? So they randomly choose my car. You know how I'd be like random, not so random. you know, they randomly choose my car. And of course I'm cooperative, and I tell them I already know, that I have to let anytime I'm stopped, I have to let the officer know that I have a weapon in the car. Like I already knew like that was the protocol, right? Plus I'm a safety officer, so there's like a lot of safety stuff that I knew. Now, I end up telling the guy, the MP, military police officer that was doing the test and stuff and had the drug dog and all that stuff. I'm like, I have my weapon in the glove compartment, whatever. And he was like, is it loaded? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, it's not, you're not allowed to have it loaded. He was like, that's a violation. You have to have your, like, if you have your gun in the glove compartment, you have to have your bullets in the trunk. If you have your gun in the trunk, you gotta have your bullets. Like they gotta be so far apart. Okay. Now in my mind, when he said that, I was like, now what sense does that make? You know what I'm saying? Like, if something bad is happening to me, I'm not gonna be able to go to my trunk, and then I gotta go to my glove compartment so I can be able to protect myself. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Why do they have to be so separated? Like that made no sense to me. But he was like, that's the rules, right? So just out off of protocol, they have to take me to the police station, the MP station, and actually like, go through the procedure. And then of course they give me a warning ticket or whatever to go, to not keep the gun together. And I also didn't have it registered on post yet. Right. But I had it registered in I had it registered, but I didn't have it registered on post. And I don't know, maybe for some reason I didn't think that that was the same thing and I didn't realize that I had to do it. Or maybe it was just like I will do it later type of thing. And so I got in trouble for that. And it seemed like the woman that was like over, she wasn't over me. She wasn't even in like my leadership lineup, but she was over like the the company that I was part of. So it was like I still had to answer to her for certain things, right? So they called her to come and pick me up because I had to actually be signed out. Now I could leave and go in my own car, whatever. Most people, at least this is what they told me there. Like most people would just they'll get signed out, like their leadership will come sign them out and they just go on about their business. It was just a warning. It's like no big deal. But so you just do the corrective action, and now you know the rules and that's it, right? But for some reason it was like she just maybe she wanted to make an example out of me. Maybe she just didn't like me. But like there was this one time that she sent me an invitation to her house, um, like wanting all the officers to get together. But at this time, I didn't want to, y'all. I didn't feel like it was right. I didn't want to like mix and mingle with them. I just wasn't feeling like the alignment was there. Like I just wasn't feeling them. So I respectfully declined. But I was also new there, and I think sometimes when you're new to a place and people don't know who you are and they're trying to get in and trying to get to know you, but you're not letting them, then they formulate their own opinion of you. And most of the time it's not right. And then sometimes they think, well, you're being uppity because you didn't accept this invitation. And it was like that's how she felt. So it was like now she's like got a vendetta against me. Cause it was like you could have just signed me out and sent me on my way. But then she like makes me stay there for hours and hours and hours. Like she has to consign me out. But it's like she just makes me stay there for forever. And by this time, it's like we've been there, like me and my kids. Like it was me and two kids. And she has us just sitting in the police station waiting on her to come and sign us out so we can go home. And so I'm calling her multiple times and I'm like, I have my kids here. I was like, can you please come and sign me out? And it's super late. And I know like she's probably pissed because she got to get up. And she was probably in the bed. She had to get up, come sign me out, because I done something stupid, So I could imagine like she was pissed, like I would be, you know. So, but I called her multiple times and I'm like, please, I'm so sorry about this. But, I got my kids with me and I got to get them home and, get them in the bed and stuff like that. Child was still forever when she came. And then she told me to drop the kids off and come back. I had to go back to the office and like just wait on her. Child, it made me so mad. But you got to think now, by this point, these things are like compounding, right? I got this false drug test. I'm getting sick, right? I've been getting sick and missing work and stuff like that. I also am going through a divorce, right? Going through custody battle and all of that stuff. And it's out of state, so I'm going back and forth to Alabama. I live in Georgia at this point. I'm in Augusta. Um and so um now I have this gun charge. And I'm just like, I can't win. I can't win for losing, y'all. Oh my God. Mm-mm-mm. Like I cannot win. So now all this stuff is on me. And I'm still trying to just figure out what's going on with my health because my health is really bad. But this stuff is also making it worse because, like, I'm stressed out. Like, so now I'm knowing that they want to get rid of me. And then also during this time, because I'm sick and the doctors are trying to figure out what's going on with me, they're giving me like steroids. They're, doing all kinds of stuff. I'm not as physically active as I was because I'm having these nerve pains, this fatigue. I'm having migraines. I'm having all these sensitivities, I'm having digestive problems, I'm having sleep problems. It's like I can't get it together. And so I end up gaining weight. Like y'all know that's what happens when they put you on steroids. Like you start gaining weight. So now I'm like getting overweight. Okay. And I'm in the army. Y'all know the army got a standard, honey. They got a standard. You can't be overweight. You know what I'm saying? You can't be overweight. And I'm an officer too, so I'm held to a higher standard, you know? Like I'm not just, you know, a private that's, not influencing anybody, not over anybody, not in leadership like I am, so I have a standard to uphold, even more so. So I'm looking really bad, y'all, like really bad. Oh, I can only imagine, what I must have looked like to my leadership. I didn't think about this at the time. I wasn't even thinking about them folks. I was thinking about what I was going through, you know? But now looking back, I can see where it's like she got issues. Like she's got all this stuff. And and so I'm not really knowing what to do, y'all. I'm not knowing what to do. All I know is that I'm gonna fight. Like fight, 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 like Donald Trump said. I'm gonna fight. And so I started fighting the case. I started fighting the the drug charge case. I started fighting it. I started investigating. Y'all, I found where the discrepancy was. And not only that, but I ended up like making a whole case, like with a lawyer, everything. It was a whole case. I was making IG complaints because of how I was being treated, you know, because of, how the test was done. Like I had to fight for my life, like and my livelihood. Because you gotta think, you know, it's not like they just wanted to fire me, For stuff like that I had on my record, they would have like given me a dishonorable discharge. Like it would have ruined me. And I wasn't guilty, I wasn't guilty of that. So, like if you've ever been accused of doing something that you didn't do, and now you're like, you like, not only are you accused, but like you actually trying to punish me, you know, and like this has lasting effects. Like this is going to forever affect me, affect my future, my ability to work and provide for my kids and, provide for myself. And I'm like, heck no, So I fight and fight and fight. Eventually, I win. I win, y'all. And I even have those same papers, all the complaints I filed, I have them still, because it's like I won't get rid of them because it's like that was that was a very pivotal moment in my life that really could have um my life could have took a very, very, very drastic downturn. So I end up, fighting that case and getting clear. Meanwhile, I'm still getting sick. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with me. I don't have the fibromyalgia diagnosis yet. They're still running tests. They're still trying to figure out what's going on. And so eventually, I get to the point where it's affecting me so bad that it's like I can't do my job anymore. And I don't see that I'll ever be able to because whatever's going on with me is not getting better, it's getting worse. And so now I'm looking at the possibility of getting out of the military for medical reasons. So I have this medical board case, and they're trying to evaluate me to see if I can still do my job in the military. But I'm sick and I just really can't see, even though I have a pretty sedentary job, I work at a desk most of the time. I'm still having problems. Like, there were times I would just, sit at my desk and I would just go dizzy, you know, and it was just like bad. And I had a lot. I was like always at the hospital. I was always in therapies, all kind of stuff. So It was like at that point, it's like all I could really focus on is just trying to maintain my health, or just trying to figure out what's going on with me. Because at that time, we was still trying to figure it out. Like, what is wrong with her? Plus, I had like those same injuries from before that I had to rehab from, right? So those injuries are getting worse over time. Like, just stuff is like compounding on me. And so I'm at the point where it's like I can't, there's no way I can do this anymore, and I have to get out. And so they, deemed me um eligible for a medical retirement. And so I ended up getting retired. Now, meantime, I forgot to tell y'all this. Meantime, while I'm going through all of that, I end up getting promoted. Like, I ended up getting promoted to captain. But they're not gonna give me my promotion, right? Because I got all this stuff on my record. So they're like, they're holding my promotion. And I'm like, no, you're gonna give me my promotion. Okay. So I even had to fight to get my promotion. And so I did. And they granted me my promotion. And so that's how I ended up getting retired as a captain. But I had earned my rank, but they didn't want to give it to me because of all the stuff that I was going through. So, okay. So now I'm getting out of the military, and I'm trying to figure out what life is going to be like out of the military, right? I didn't plan on retiring in the military, but I definitely didn't plan on getting out when I did. When I got out, I was just under 5 years, right? I was just under 5 years, and it's like I still felt like I had a lot, at least 5 more years in the military that I wanted to serve. So I wasn't ready to get out. But I had to get out. And so now I'm just trying to figure out my life after the military. Where do I want to live? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And so I like Augusta, like that's where I was, that's where I was stationed at Fort Gordon. So I'm like, I have a church family. I have a cousin that lives there. I have friends that I've made, and I'm actually liking it. So I think I'm gonna stay in Augusta. That's what I thought, yeah. I'll tell you what happened. My father told me, now this took a few conversations, but the gist of it, of all the conversations we had, was God told him that I was supposed to move back home, which is in Alabama, which is where I live now. So, um, which is it's really not home, but it's home, like, how like you move around a lot, military. So when you find a place that you feel comfortable, and you just gonna call it home. So Alabama ends up being home now. He's like, God told me that you're to come back and help build the church. And I'm like, I kind of want to stay in Augusta. I like how far I am, because it's easy for me to get on I-20. Like, it's literally a straight shot. You're not going anywhere but straight up I-20 from Augusta to Alabama. So 4 hours, y'all, I would do a turn and burn in a day, right? I would shoot to Alabama 4 hours, shoot back 4 hours. This is 8 hours. Like, when I was young, I would do that. It was no big deal. And so I'm like, I'm just far enough away, and I'm just close enough that I can come whenever I want to, but you're not just gonna get in your car and drive all the way to see me without calling first. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just that far enough away, right? That you gotta plan it. Okay. So I'm like, oh, that's a good distance. And but no, my father's like, no, you need to move back home. You need to be with your mother. Like, my mom was having health issues, plus I'm having my health issues, and I got the kids. So it was really making sense what my father was saying. He was like, come back, help with the church. Okay, I love the church. Um and now, since I'm out of military, but I'm able to take care of myself still financially, because of the benefits that I'll keep getting. Then maybe, when I'm up to it, when I feel, when my health feels up to it, then I help with the church sometimes. So I'm like, maybe this is a God thing. Maybe I got sick, but God's going to use it for his glory, and I'm going to be able to serve in the church more, and it's just going to be great. So I moved back to Alabama, which, I wouldn't take that decision back for anything, right? I still think that was the right decision for me to move back to Alabama. Okay. But the fact is that he low key manipulated me, right? By saying, well, this is like a God said thing, and I don't know, maybe it was a God thing, knowing that we be where we are today. I don't know. Let me just not even judge. Okay. Maybe God did speak to him and that was the one time he listened. I don't know. But what I do know is after I moved back, this man, my father, he goes to Augusta, where I just left from, and starts looking for a house to move there. Do y'all understand what I am saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Even though I'm looking crazy. Do y'all understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, y'all? Why he tell me God said for you to move back here, right? Then he starts looking to move there. What? So I'm getting a little mad, right? Because I'm realizing that he's literally trying to move, even though he just told me to move back. Like, what? So he's looking in Augusta, where I just moved from. He's looking in Florida. Like, he looking for houses in all these places. Like, why wouldn't you just stay right here where you just told me God told me to come back to? Why God gonna tell me to come back and then gonna tell you to leave? How does that work? So I'm realizing, like, my father is he on some bull. He is on some bull because it doesn't make any sense. So he we live like in the same county. Like, I could get to my mom 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying? 15 minutes with lights and traffic or whatever. Get to her, you know. We're able to like go to doctor's appointments together. When I'm sick, she'll get the kids, because she's just right down the freaking road, right? Which was the whole point, right? So we're helping each other. Then eventually he finds a house that's 2 hours away, right? Which is probably the best scenario because he gets to move like he's itching and dying to do, but it's not too far, right? Even though it is a bit inaccessible, which is what he wanted. Um, but it's not like it's too far, kind of like how I had in Augusta, where it's like it's not too far. Like, you can easily do that in a day, but you're not just gonna pop up, because you're not gonna just pop up after driving 2 hours. Like, what if the person's not there and you've just wasted 2 hours? You got to go back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're gonna think twice about just popping up at somebody's house. None of us like that pop up spirit. Like, we don't like that. Don't pop up. Don't just show up at my house. Like, I'm not even gonna answer the door. That's first of all. But like, don't pop up, right? Because that is just like, that's a no-no. So anyway, so he ends up moving, and I do get a bit upset, right? Because why would you do that? You know? And where he ends up moving is where there's nothing, right? So like, he ends up moving to this isolated little town. And I don't think it was actually a city. It was a town. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even have like the municipalities of the whole thing. Okay. So he ends up moving to this little town. It's out like in the middle of nowhere, basically. So anytime they have to do anything, they come to the church, drive 2 hours, 2 hours there, 2 hours back home. If you got to go to the doctor's office that they go to, 2 hours away. So you have to go to the doctor's office. You got driving 2 hours there and 2 hours back. Now imagine you're driving 2 hours to come to church on Sunday and driving 2 hours back. 2 hours there on a Wednesday and driving 2 hours back. Choir rehearsal, driving there and 2 hours back. Um, Friday night worship service, you drive in there, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And I'm not worried about my father, right? Like, do what you want to do. But you actually have my mom who is also in bad health on the road. So she's on the road constantly. She has to be at all those same services, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. She's frequently at the doctor's office because her health isn't the best. 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And my mom is just on the road, and it's wearing her down. I mean, as it would with anybody, right? Like that, all of that is just gonna wear you down. And I'm seeing that her health is getting worse, and it's all because of my father. And and so now I'm realizing, as my discernment wheels are turning, and I'm trying to make sense of my father's patterns. Why is he doing this? Like, what is his motivation? What is his goal? And so that's when I'm realizing that he's trying to isolate her. He's isolating my mother. You know, it wasn't easy for me to get to her. I was sick myself. I had, chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm gonna get on the road 2 hours, 2 hours back. Like, I could do that when I was in the military, and I would do a turn and burn from Augusta. But at this point, my health is even to the point where I can't easily access my mom. And but I'm seeing her at church, right? So I mean, we're still seeing each other regularly. So I guess the whole isolation thing isn't that bad because we still see each other, right? We still see each other certain days of the week, like, in church. But it's just not the same. And so there's like certain things that are starting to happen. And I'm just noticing that there's a lot of wear and tear on people. Like, there is this type of spirit that is like a distressing, like a discouraging, exhausting, it's like a spirit that is there just to discourage people, just to tire you out, just to make you so focused on like health things and all these issues in your life that that you're not seeing the deception and stuff that's being done. Instead, it's like for in our situation, it was my father trying to have more church services, trying to put more responsibilities on people. And it's like, when you are in a church and you are, doing something, most likely it's a volunteer position, right? Very few people actually get paid in church, right? Most of the time, the people who are serving are volunteering. Well, how do you have um paid demands on people that you ain't paying? These are volunteers. So how are you having all these demands? How are you, requiring people and getting mad at us if we're not coming to all the services that you want to have? You know? Like, no, we got families. Like, we want to spend time with our families because that's our ministry too. We don't need to spend all of our time in this building sitting here listening to you. So we weren't down with it. And he's getting mad at us, right? He was like, "Oh, we need to have more church." So he calls for another service. And we're not coming because, like, no, you're not just going to invent this reason for us to come and sit in here and listen to you more. You know? You're not encouraging us to grow our families, enrich our families. You're not encouraging us to, support our kids and push them to be to their greatness. You're not encouraging healthy relationships and togetherness and fellowship. You're not encouraging any of those things. You want us to come here and listen to you. You want more time to indoctrinate us. You want more time to speak into our spirits, that deception, that demonic stuff. That's what you want. And I'm starting to realize this now. My discernment wheels are turning. These are the times when I'm realizing, like, I have discernment because I'm seeing this, And I'm looking around and not a lot of people are seeing this, you know? I'm seeing spiritually what is happening. And not a lot of people are able to see spiritually what is happening. But I am. And I'm not liking it. And it's totally vexing my spirit to the point where it's like, I'm not getting better. I have this fibromyalgia, I have this sickness that's going on. I'm not getting better. In fact, I'm getting worse. Like, and so now I'm like, I'm cutting things out of my life, right? I already, had to, get out of the military, which I didn't want to do. So now I don't have a job, right? That's one thing that was cut out of my life. Now, instead of working, my health becomes my full-time job because it's that demanding. Like, is I have to do that much to keep myself healthy, to keep the fibromyalgia from rearing up, So it's becoming my full-time job to to manage my health, but my health is getting worse. And I'm like, I'm in church. Like, I'm in church as much as I possibly can be. I'm trying to get to the choir services because I'm over the choir, right? I'm over the praise and worship team. So now I'm teaching the songs and doing the things, but but there's a vexing like in my spirit, and I'm feeling exhausted by this. Like, it's wearing me down. So there's something wrong here. Why am I feeling so weighed down by doing stuff for God? Like, why is it just like totally like wearing wearing me down? So I'm confused because I don't feel like it should be this way. And I realized, like, over time, that all of these events and situations and little strife and little beefs and stuff that are starting to really like get bad in the church, they're all coming back to my father somehow. Somehow he's at the root of it all, you know? It's like I'm looking and I'm seeing all these issues, like women in the church beefing, because let's be honest, it's mostly women in the church. And some of these pastors, like my father, like to keep mess going with the women in the church. They like to keep drama, little strifes, little competitions going on, between the singers and and the ushers, and the armor bearers and stuff. They like to keep a little drama going on, so people are constantly kind of like at odds with each other. That's what my father's doing. I mean, as messy as it is, because see, most people say it's women who are being messy, but here you find this man in the middle of all the drama. And when you really think about it, it's like, wait a minute. He's not only in the middle of this, but he's starting this stuff. Like, he's fueling the fire, like he's putting gas in, and hiding his hand. Yes, the pastor, you know. Now, there's people in church now, they're threatening to harm each other. And here my father is in the middle of it, like aggravating it, you know? Like saying little things like, oh, she'll beat you up. Oh, she'll stab you. Saying that to one of the other sisters in the church about the other sisters she got a beef with. Like, why is you keeping stirring up drama? Why are you in the middle of this? Why are you encouraging this foolishness? Why? And you the pastor. But I'm noticing this stuff. Nobody else, I don't think, is noticing this. But I'm noticing it. I'm trying to figure out why ain't nobody else seeing it. Like, y'all don't see he's in the middle of all of this, that he just keeps on stirring up stuff, that he keeps on putting these burdens on everybody. So everybody feels heavy, everybody feels burdened, and everybody feels like tired, to where they're not really fully serving God, and serving God's people, because they're too bogged down with all of this stuff that the pastor keeps putting on them. I'm seeing it, but ain't nobody else seeing it. Also, when I notice that I'm seeing stuff, right? And I try to talk to somebody at the end of church, he's stopping it. He's stopping the fellowship. Like, he literally told somebody to not be friends with me and to not communicate with me. Why did he do that? Not because he thought I was a bad influence on them. No, it wasn't that. I mean, he may have said it like that, made that person feel like that was the case, or tried to make that person feel like that was the case. She told me about it, and so we were ended up, able to talk about it. But this was way after the fact, after he said it. It wasn't like she immediately came to me. So how long did this fester in her mind and her spirit that, that I was somehow a bad influence, and that the pastor was cautioning her to stay away from his daughter for her own good, you know? And there was no way that she could really talk to me about it, because anytime we would try to fellowship after church, he would cut the lights off at the breaker box, y'all. It wasn't like he would just go through and start cutting the lights off one by one or anything. No, he cut them jokers off at the breaker box, like boom. All right, everybody. We all gotta walk out at the same time. That's what he would make us do. He would make us all walk out at the same time and make it like he's just keeping us safe, But no, he's just keeping a tabs, keeping control, making sure that we don't talk to each other, that we don't mingle with each other, that we don't fellowship with each other, and most importantly, that we don't all know and all realize that he's at the center of all the drama. That's what he don't want. He want that divide and conquer. Okay. But I'm seeing this, and nobody else is seeing this. At least that's what I think. But me being me, child, I push the barriers, right? I become friends with her, and she ended up being one of my bestest friends. Her name is Olivia. Libby for short. That's what I call her. And she's passed away now. But you'll hear about her, and you actually hear her voice, because I have recordings of her. So I'll play them for you one day when the time is right. But yeah, so she started to realize, then me and my mom, we're trying to steal whatever time we can have to communicate, to see if we're tripping, right? Because once you start noticing things, even as a discerner, you question it. Like, am I tripping here? You know, am I wrong? Am I seeing what I think am I hearing what I think I'm hearing? You go through this phase where you really start to doubt. So we end up, basically pushing through, communicating with each other, you know, quietly without him knowing, purposely keeping it secretive. And so now us women are able to communicate. We women, is that the way you say it? We women are able to communicate, and we realize we ain't the only ones that's been seeing this, okay? Like, I wasn't the only one. They saw it too and thought they was the only one. She saw it too and thought she was the only one. Like, we're realizing now that was the whole game. The game was to keep us isolated, keep us from talking to each other, and realizing that he is in the middle of all of this. Child, child, just as messy as he wanna be. Just as messy as he wanna be. It's just as messy as they say women are. But y'all, it ain't nothing like a messy man. Ooh, child. A messy man. Ooh. Y'all don't even understand, honey. Like, that's the worst of the worst. Now, this stuff is starting to peel, as you can see, and starting to fall. So, I'm going to go ahead and start rinsing it off. Y'all want to go to the bathroom with me to rinse this off? Yes, let's go. Let's go together. All right, now, I'm going to try to figure out how to do this without. Uh, Ooh. All right, y'all, bear with me here, okay?
Let me end this live stream. I'm gonna go watch this off, and then I'm gonna come back. Right? Okay, let's do it like that. Okay, I love you guys. Bye bye for now.